Greetings, fellow Watford fans. Omar here, and it's time for the YouOrns Friday focus on Preston North End versus Watford. That takes place up in Lancashire tomorrow, and Watford will be looking to bounce back from their home defeat against Ipswich this week, and they will have a tough time with the Preston North End side that have been going very well, despite a recent run of results that haven't been good. They had lost 3 consecutive games, but they did get a draw against Norwich and just a few days ago got a win away at struggling Huddersfield. And I think that that probably has righted the ship for a Preston side who usually don't concede a lot of goals. And definitely last season had a very, very good start to the season. Watford against Preston last season were 0-0 and 1-1, if memory serves me well. 0-0 at their place last season. Preston had gone the first 7 or 8 games without conceding a single goal. Watford were trying to get themselves sorted out after Rob Edwards was on the verge of being sacked, I think, after that game. But the bottom line is this is a new season, a new Watford, and it's definitely a new Preston as well. But Ryan Lowe, that's the manager I was thinking of just a moment ago. Ryan Lowe, the Preston manager, is still in post and doing a good job. Definitely feeling some heat with some of those results earlier. Preston North End are a team that can hurt you at any time. They can score off set pieces very well. They can be very physical and very pacey. And certainly they can get in behind defenders. So Watford are going to have to keep their eyes open and alert. Their defending Watford is going to be much, much better than it was against both the Saints and against Ipswich. And I think Wesley Hook will have to have a big time bounce back game after his mistake cost Watford a point in their game against Ipswich. But it's not just Wes Hook. The whole team now has to be committed to team defending and game management. Those two things have been lacking, as have the end quality in the final third over these last 2 games. And I think Watford have to get the balance right there. The performances are good, but it's just those smaller, finer details, the details, that need to be rectified and improved upon. And if Watford are able to do that against this Preston North End side, I think Watford can at least get a point in this game. A very difficult place today to play. I think, is it Deepdale? I forget where they exactly play up in Lancashire, Preston North End, but wherever they play, they do play pretty darn well. Watford in 12th place at the moment, Preston in 8th place at the moment. 4 points separate the two sides. Both teams have lost 7 games thus far in the championship. Watford will have their full complement of players. Of course, the only player they won't have is Jeremy Ngaki, who's out long term after the ankle surgery that he had recently. But from what we know, at least as far as I know before listening to or being privy to any press conference that the manager Val Ishmael has had, that it seems like pretty much everybody will be okay to play this game, will be eligible to play. Certainly Ben Hamer, I expect him to continue on in goal. There may be a change or two after the defeat. But really, I don't think the team played poorly, so there's no reason, I think, to make any real changes in the lineup to start with. Now, look, I know there are Watford supporters who would like to see Martin start these games, but you can't have Martin start these games when Ken Sema's been on fire the way he has. Ken Sema was excellent the other night against Ipswich and really was the standout Watford player. So I really don't see that there's going to be changes in the front three. Asprilla went very well on Tuesday night against Ipswich as well. In fact, he scored the goal that Watford had in that game. So can't replace him. And Rajovic, could you change him and put Reece Healy there? I could understand that call. Any Watford supporter calling for Healy to start wouldn't be out of bounds for calling for that. But I do think that Val's probably going to stay with Rajovic, although Rajovic has misfired in a number of games lately. He does lead all scorers for Watford with 7 goals. But I said this many times, he could have 14 had he taken real stock of some real sitters that he's had in front of him in the last few weeks. But the thing is that I expect Val to stay with what he's got and bring Healy off the bench. I would love to see Bio and Healy together. I definitely think that they work well. They worked well against Southampton in that game last Saturday that they got the point in late. It was Bio's assist to Healy that was very important in that moment. That header off to Healy, and Healy did the rest after that. I would like to see Val have more time with Bio and Healy on the pitch together as a two up top. I'd like to see that relationship develop some more. Now, he's probably not going to start the games like that, but when the second half comes and it's time to make subs, depending on the way the game is going and depending on what's going on with the way that Watford are playing, I would like to see Bio and Healy together, given more time together on the pitch. Let's say the 70th minute, the 65th minute. I'd like to see how that goes in these games. I would like to see Val try that. Will he do it? I don't think he'll give that much time to it, but depending on what he sees in training, maybe he will implement it. I would like to see that. And I'm not the only Watford supporter who would like to see that experiment actually get played into the games when they come up, say in the 65th or 70th minute. Give these two time to build some chemistry. I mean, I think they look good so far. The game against Southampton, I like what they did together. Let that grow some more. Give Rajovic a start if you want to give him the start. But, again, we're going to need two really important things in January coming up in a few weeks' time. Next month, we're going to need the following: another goalkeeper, and we're going to need a striker somewhere around on the line. We're going to need a striker to give this lot some competition, because I don't think any of the strikers we have presently are going to be the complete answer. But I don't think that these strikers are terrible. Now, if I had to rank the strikers at the minute, I'd probably rank, obviously, I'd rank Rajovic because he scored more goals. But in terms of what the strikers bring to the whole team, I would put Bio first. I really would, because he's just an absolute workhorse. He works for the team. He's a great teammate. He's somebody who listen, when his game goes south, he can still, if he's not scoring, he can still help in other ways. He did that last Saturday. And I'd also put Healy, in fact, ahead of Rajovic, in terms of how he helps the team, because he definitely shows you he's got more assets. He's more dimensional. He's got that long throw from the touchline. He is the long throw. That's another weapon that he has, Healy. He can run with the ball. He runs off the shoulder of the last defender. He can take some good shots in the box. I think he's a good link-up player. He just hasn't had the time because of the injury and whatnot and the confidence building. So I'd put both of them ahead of Rajovic. Rajovic, for me, is rather one-dimensional. Again, he scores the goals. Of course, that's what you bring him in for, but he doesn't have any other game other than that. And I mean, some Watford fans might say, well, that's all we care about. But no, it's good when your game is suffering in front of goal. What else can you do? Bio and Healy can do other things. Rajovic, no, he's not really more than a one-dimensional player, is he? That's not to take a pop at him. It's just to acknowledge what we're observing as Watford fans. But look, Watford have to get the business done tomorrow. I think that loss on Tuesday night against Ipswich offered a painful lesson for Watford. You can't switch off. Watford a bit naive in that game, I felt. Watford are going to have to be on their toes tomorrow. Put in a good away performance against Preston. Get in there confidently, take chances, take risks, but make sure that you game manage. If you score first, make sure that you game manage out the next 15 minutes or so, because that's going to be when Preston going to come at you. And Preston are going to come at you from the off. So Watford are going to have to be ready defensively in this game. I think Watford are going to have to suffer a lot in this game from the defensive point of view. But I really would like to see Watford, if Watford score first, and that's always important, score first in this game and score early. Make sure that you game manage out the next 15 minutes of play. Can you get then, if you score in the fifth minute, can you get to the 20-minute mark? And then see if you get to the 20-minute mark, can you push on and try to get another goal? Or can you try to hold out to the half-hour mark and see what you can do there? And then the remaining 15 minutes of the half, can you now kick on? Can you now manage out the 15 minutes of the game to get to half time in front without conceding any goals? This is a critical component of Watford's game plan, I think, and this is what I would like to see Watford do much, much better, especially away from home. We've seen more than once this season when Watford have scored away from home early in particular, or first in particular, they have not been able to game manage out more than 10 minutes before the opposition scores. We saw that against Hull when Hull scored a minute and a half later. We've seen that in a number of games this season on the road. We saw it against Coventry as well. We saw this on a number of occasions where Watford could not game manage out 15, 20 minutes or game manage out to the half. So Watford are going to have to do that much, much better. The discipline's going to have to be better. Ryan Porteous is only, I think, a couple of yellow cards away from missing another game. I think something like that. So it's got to be really all hands to the pump tomorrow in a team effort in order to get at least a point, if not more, from this really dogged and very, very difficult to play Preston North End side. This has been the YouOrns Friday Focus.